the Leaderonomics show. Today we have Lloyd Luna with us from the Philippines. Lloyd, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having this interview.
You're a very interesting character. You're a writer, you're a business consultant, you're a political thinker, you're a strategist, you run your own TV show.
Oh yeah.
You have a whole bunch of myriad of things that you do. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
Yeah, it started with a very, very simple idea of self-belief.
Okay.
When I started my career as an entrepreneur,
Okay.
it actually occurred to me that I can actually have something to share to the
Okay.
world,
Okay.
and in this case, it should be writing because I'm really passionate about.
But how do you figure out that you needed to be a writer or wanted to be a writer?
I think it was already in me ever since I was in my primary school. I
Yeah.
would write for school papers and all.
Okay.
And for our viewers, I think they already have what it has to. They already have it in them.
Okay.
So it turned out that after writing the manuscript, I was able to publish it on my own.
Okay. This was your first book, right? This book.
Yeah. Is there a job?
Is there a job out waiting for you?
Waiting
right?
for you?
So you mentioned before that it was rejected, right?
It was rejected,
Okay.
and
And you wrote this book at the age of 23, right?
23.
Okay.
Which is nobody would really believe.
So why did you write this book, and was there something that triggered you to? I mean, it's specifically for. Is there a job waiting for you? Is that because you were looking for a job?
Not only that, I think the primary reason is people need an answer.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I think unemployment is a problem of so many nations,
Right,
not
right.
only in the Philippines. And if I can only give them some answers or maybe some ideas,
Yeah.
maybe I can help them out.
Okay.
And by helping, I can get the money. So I think that that's a process. I cannot imagine myself being an author
Yeah.
and published by somebody else. Because when they did not reject my book, I could have been just another author who
Right.
would get the royalty and all.
Right.
But in this case, I own the books, the publishing, all the rights I own. So, but let's not make any mistake about me as a political thinker, as a consultant, as a guest, as a guest of so many popular shows, as a speaker, because at the end of the day, it boils down to what I really love doing, and it is sharing my thoughts through writing.
Okay. Okay. And you talked a bit about self-belief, the fact that even in rejection and tough times, you still have to have that self-belief. Tell us a little bit about the self-belief and how we go about creating self-belief.
All right. Number one, I think we are always overwhelmed by the idea that we will have to please so many people around us.
Right.
And in the process of doing that, we lose our identity.
Okay.
The person that the person that we know that we are. No, when you were still a child, you know what you can do. When someone asks you to sing, you sing
Yep.
up front.
Yep.
When someone asks you to dance, you dance. It's
You
pretty much
embarrass yourself, but you dance, right?
Exactly. Embarrassment has nothing to do with what you are doing.
Yep.
Embarrassment is just a bonus for some other people towards you.
Yep.
But you perform well, you believe in yourself, you always ask questions. All of these things, these are the things that are required in order for someone to succeed.
Right.
And yet, in the process of, growing up, taking education, school, or everywhere in school or outside school, I think we were programmed to be someone else.
Okay.
And in that process, you lose your identity, you no longer know who you are, you no longer...
You wear masks and so on.
Exactly. So you are now more focused on how you can please other people
Yep.
rather than pursuing what
passionate
you're passionate about.
Okay.
So that's the self-belief. And I always tell people, many people don't believe in you because they are afraid that you will succeed. And by succeeding, they will be perceived as losers.
Okay.
So they don't want that.
Okay.
They don't want to be put in that light.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. The other thing that you do that's rather interesting is this whole thing called Crossfire, right? What's
Right.
that? Tell us a little bit about Crossfire and what that whole process entails.
Okay, for many companies, the challenge is always over familiarity.
Okay.
When I say over familiarity, the management is just talking and talking and talking. So every person knows one person, and sometimes when the politics is in the way, they cannot just. They're always in the deadlock. So my Crossfire service for companies is like, let me be the facilitator of your meeting.
Okay.
Let me be an
And what
outsider.
would you do at that meeting?
Okay, for example, there is a board meeting.
Yep.
Yeah, there are people in there. So I adjudicate. I basically moderate.
Okay.
Okay. What's your idea? What's your idea? Let's come up with terms.
Yeah.
so that you are no longer have to attack each other.
Okay.
Okay, let's be specific here. Let's move forward. Let's
Okay.
put this in perspective.
So you basically manage the crossfire between.
Right. So
that's why it's called crossfire.
That's why it's called crossfire. So the brand is crossfire. So like, bang 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 bang. Okay, hold it, hold it. At the end of the day, we are either win as a team or lose as individuals.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I do, and it's very very interesting because I think I'm creating. We are actually creating a new set of dynamics.
Yeah.
When an outsider is actually attending to the meeting and say, okay, now you have an outsider, and the decision is not only based on what they know,
Right.
but what others from the outside.
You know, I have an interesting question. Why is it that in countries like the Philippines, Malaysia, many of the Southeast Asian countries, we don't see prominent business leaders or entrepreneurs, you know, like the Richard Bransons and the ones that we see out in many of the Western countries? Is there a specific reason for that?
Well, in my personal opinion, I think it has something to do with the population.
Okay.
We cannot create that because, for example, in the Philippines, we are just like 90 million, and it's like we are small.
Okay.
We are small. We are not.
But I
in
mean,
the
there are
US.
countries like Finland and Iceland and all with really small populations that have significant.
No, okay. That's the other part. But I will have to stand by it that we, you know, we don't have that so many people to really patronize us. So that's one. That's number two. Okay, why Finland? Maybe here in the Asian countries, we are comfortable with what we have. We are not forced to do something else. I mean, even if we don't do some hard things,
Right.
we can still live eat 3 times a day, live.
Or 6 times.
Yeah, 6 times. I think we are comfortable. And even the Philippines, that's the number one problem. We are too comfortable that we don't want to work for another day. 1 day is enough. This paycheck is enough. I don't care. I don't want to pursue my idea because it's hard, you know.
Yep.
And I think pretty much the same. When I go to Vietnam and Brunei doing the motivational speeches, it's pretty much the same. In Brunei, most hardworking people are not Brunei people. They are Filipino people. I said, okay, something is wrong.
Right.
So being comfortable with what we have, I think, is one of the reasons why we don't create such, you know,
The comfort
personalities.
Let me ask you a couple of pieces of advice. If I'm a college grad, you know, just graduated from university or just coming out of school, what advice would you give me?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to wait for the graduation.
Yep.
A lot of people, and this is in my books.
You talked about it.
I talked about it. You don't have to wait for the graduation time, because what happens is you will be too late. It will be too late for you when you start preparation after college.
So you should start way before that.
Yeah.
So what do you need
first
to
year?
prepare?
Okay, let me put it this way. When I was in college, I was more on extracurricular activities. I was into sports. I was into quiz bee competitions and all. All of these things actually sum up to who I am right now.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you're going to realize, no, everything that you did when you were in high school and college
Has an impact.
has an impact in what you are as a professional.
Sure.
They are basically so. I suggest that they involve themselves in extracurricular activities, all of these side activities.
Yeah.
They should experience the world outside. Get an OJT even if you are still in your first year.
Yep.
Ask a company to give you an opportunity,
Internship or something, yeah.
internship, even if it's not yet required.
Yep.
You will have to experience it.
Yep.
In my program back in the Philippines, I interview CEOs and business owners,
Right.
and one interesting thought is that all of these people are B students, C students, D students.
Yeah.
They are
But
not
they've
the
got
valid.
but they have lots of experiences, right?
Yeah, they didn't have the valedictorian credit. They didn't perform well. Most of them got failing grades. And okay, now it turned out that they are the bosses of their own company. I said, how did that happen?
Right.
Well, one reason that I discovered is they have nothing to lose. If you have nothing to lose, you will stake everything that you have. And these valedictorians, these A students, they call it,
things to lose.
too many things to lose. The reputation, oh my God, I cannot do it wrong. I should do it right. So how do I do it? And you know, the C and D students, okay, these entrepreneurs, do it. Okay, mistakes, so correct it next time. But do it.
So let me ask you one more question. If I'm a CEO of a business, what advice would you give me?
Well, I'm a CEO myself, president of my own companies.
Yep.
I think they are doing. They became CEO not because not for anything, but they are qualified to be the CEO. And if I were to give them an advice, I think it's more on they will need to be even more thirsty
Okay.
of
Success.
knowledge.
Okay.
They will have to have the feeling of what it's like to be the lowest. How does it feel to be there, down there? What are the customers telling me? I cannot really, cannot just put it the way that I would like it to be. And maybe the situation is telling me something, my staff's telling me something, the janitor is telling me something, my customer is telling me something, the competition is telling me something, all of these things. As a chief executive officer, your job is to execute things. And you cannot execute things very well if you are misinformed.
So you just
Not
need
to
to get the right information,
Right.
and flow it and
If-
make decisions
Exactly.
fast.
You cannot
Okay.
make a decision out of,
It's leadership at the end of the day,
right.
right? Let me just final thoughts on leadership. What's your take on leadership, and how do you think we should continue to grow leaders in our organizations?
I think leadership is more of legacy than it is personality.
Okay.
I don't know if
So
you've
it's
heard
about
this.
leaving a legacy.
Right. I don't know if you've heard about this in the past, but I personally believe it's about legacy rather than personality. Personality dies. Personality is just temporary, but the legacy, I think, is permanent. I'm going to give you one very, very brief example of a leadership in the Philippines. If you've heard of Banawe rice terraces or Ifugao rice terraces, it's one of the 7 wonders of the world.
Right.
Okay, it's a legacy of our ancestors. 2,000 years ago, we built it, and nobody claimed who is in charge of that.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with personality.
Right.
Now, in this particular time of history, we want to claim the credit.
Yeah, it's all about personality.
We name our airports after personality. We name everything out after our personality. Way back, the leadership concept that was taught to us back in the Philippines, a particular achievement, especially if this done by the group, should not be credited to one person.
Yep.
So leadership is more of a legacy rather than it is a personality.
Fantastic. Thanks, Lloyd. With Lloyd Luna here with us on the Leaderonomics show, we look forward to having you again as a guest.
Yeah,
thank you
sure.
for being here with us. Appreciate your time.
No problem.
All right.
Appreciate your time too.
Thank you.